across the galaxy. My name is Rob DiLauro. Welcome to Dungeon Village Delights, a marriage made in horror. This is, of course, my Space Marine wife, Melody.
What's up?
She's bug busting, but she's not doing a good job though. There's one right here. All right, guys. Thank you for your continued love and support. We really do appreciate it. We're starting to get some traction, especially on Twitter and stuff. So that's really cool. If you could just like and subscribe to the channel, do all that cool stuff, we'd really appreciate it. Just definitely helps us out with the algorithm. We've got a special episode again today because we are honoring something, which is something that came out actually last week. But man, just destroying the box office right now.
That's awesome.
It was the first movie to really take over the run of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Hey,
After I think like a 3-week run or something like that.
Okay.
But of course, we're talking about ALIEN Romulus, which I personally I thought was a pretty solid story. What do you
I
think?
really liked it. I thought it was really good. At first, I was like, "Oh my god, what does this have anything to do with aliens?" And then it came together, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then that ending, what the fuck? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, like I actually appreciated the stuff that they were getting into a lot more than just the xenomorph stuff, the integration of what certain planets are like. There's two ways to look into this film. It's like you can look at it as a straightforward, like, okay, it's got horror, it's got face huggers, it's got this and that, and then you can look at it like how the establishment and corporations pretty much like screw the youth when they're trying to
Get away and start their own life.
Well,
yeah.
or just just establish themselves in some manner, or whatever,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're pretty much like grinded into the system, and that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
All they were trying to do was escape and have a better life for themselves, and they couldn't.
Because their hours were like, "Oh no, you were told one thing, but guess what? You're gonna go work in the mines now."
Yeah. So it was really smart. I know that there's a small teaser that just came out recently for a show that's coming out on FX next year called Alien Earth,
What?
and it's supposed to be set. I think I don't know. It's a certain amount of years. I think it's like 10 years before the original Alien or something. So it's like about the start of the the evil company from the story Weyland-Yutani and how they came came to be and all this stuff.
Yeah, no, it was an evil company. That company.
Oh yeah. It's basically like it's your regular evil corporation. You know what I mean?
Have you ever noticed that the head looks like a penis?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I had to just put it out there.
No, it's absolutely you're absolutely 100% right. I mean, that's something we're going to talk about eventually. But yeah, H.R. Giger's work is definitely sexual.
Phallic.
Very phallic, vaginal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty wild that this became this huge franchise or whatever, because like honestly, like the imagery, especially when the original Alien came out, I mean, basically it's aliens just face fucking people
Yeah.
and laying eggs in their throat.
Yep.
It's really crazy.
Crazy.
But anyway, we are, as I said before, celebrating Alien Romulus by talking about alien films.
Yay!
I think we have a stellar list for the most part. Some of them are, I don't know, I guess you can consider them cult classics. I don't, know what other way to put them. Because some of them are like universally hated, but we like them for some reason.
Yeah.
All right.
We're weird. It's okay.
Yeah, we are weird. All right, so when it comes to our alien list, our first Deadly Delight, Melody, is actually your pick, which is based on a Stephen King short story. It's called Dreamcatcher. Yeah, this is probably the film that we're talking about that really just gets like a lot of
Hate.
and division.
And I think the big reason why it gets a lot of hate is, first of all, it's a very long movie. And it has multiple chapters to it. Like, it's not one story. It's multiple stories, and it kind of shoots off into different tangents. And it's a lot to take in. It's you got to give yourself some time. You might have to watch this movie a few times to actually catch all the nuances in it. But basically, the whole thing with this movie is
I think a lot of hate comes from the fact that it's just a bad story. But yeah, anyway.
So there's this group of boys, and they have this friend called
Duddits.
Duddits, and You have to remember this movie was made during a time period where
Hollywood
we didn't call people neurodivergent. We called them other words. So he would have been considered another word, derogatory word. And
Jesus, Melody, what would that word be?
we don't use that word.
Oh.
Not in this household.
No, definitely.
Nope. It starts off with them as kids and realizing that this Deditz guy has these powers, and there's this girl that's missing, and they go on this adventure to find this girl. Like I said, there's a lot of things that have to go along with it, but it goes into the future, and they all think that Deditz passed away, and they're all going on this road trip to a cabin, and that's when all hell breaks loose. Okay, Mr. Deditz had always talked about Mr. Gay. He meant Mr. Gray. Okay, he had a speech impediment.
Yeah.
Mr. Gray is actually an
You're
alien.
missing a lot though, because like it is very important that these guys also receive psychic powers somehow.
From him.
Right.
From
him.
Deditz.
And they called themselves the Scooby Gang, so like Deditz had this thing with Scooby.
And they called Deditz their Dreamcatcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why the movie's called Dreamcatcher. And there's a lot. Like I said, this movie has a lot to it. You've got to go watch it.
It's entertaining, but it's convoluted as all hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
That's why I'm skipping over so much of it. There's a lot to this movie. So they end up going. So when they get to the cabin, and then they start noticing that the animals are running away, and that there's this red stuff all over everywhere, and then these little slugs that are coming out, and they're trying to attack people. Coming up through the toilet, there's that one bathroom scene. Oh my god, that was an awesome.
No, what happens is they're at a cabin and they meet up with I guess like a traveler, and the traveler's like sick, so they let him into the cabin, and like he's like all like disgusting and bloated and stuff, and then it turns out they open the bathroom door, and they see this freaking thing like kind of climbing out of this dude into the toilet bowl. And it's like a big parasite.
Yeah, it's like a huge, like, very huge parasite. All hell breaks loose, and then there's this scene where the guy with red hair, what's his name?
Damian Lewis.
Yeah. He ends up coming face to face with this big, tall, gray alien.
Or Jonesy.
Jonesy, yeah. Comes into contact with this big, tall, and then it opens its maw, and it's like from top to bottom, like this teeth. Then this red mist happens, and it goes into Jonesy's body, and then there's this huge battle between Jonesy and a couple of the other guys, and they realize they're like, "You're not Jonesy. Who are you?" And
people ripped on Damian Lewis's British accent in this movie, and it's like, dude, he is British,
right?
Right. So I guess it was like so like over the top, like chimney sweep when he's Mr. Gray, he's taking over his body and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then
they had Morgan Freeman in this too, with the whole like
with a big bushy eyebrows.
Yes. Oh my god.
Wild eyebrows. So this is a dude that apparently he's gonna retire, but before he does that, he's gonna basically like just lay like waste to all these different aliens and stuff.
Right.
So it becomes like this like really epic thing all of a sudden, and you see a bunch of helicopters flying around and shit, and it's like basically like an Independence Day movie.
Yeah.
Like wrapped up in this little story where these guys are trying to like just survive these parasites or whatever, with their challenged friend who actually turns out at the end to be an alien.
Yeah, he's not dead, he's an alien, and he ends up merging with Mr. Gray and in this epic whatever fight thing, and they explode.
So this Deditz character, like she said before, this movie came out a while ago, so Donnie Wahlberg's interpretation could be questionable.
Yeah.
I guess. Just think of something that Robert Downey Jr.'s character said in Tropic Thunder. Like,
well, I think the whole point was this massive alien was trying to force itself into a smaller human form, and it was having a hard time with the human form.
Even that's kind of stupid, but like.
Yeah.
But Melody loves Dreamcatcher.
I do. You
And why is it called Dreamcatcher? Because when Duddits like actually defends like the planet basically, and turns into a red mist with this other creature, it kind of looks like a Dreamcatcher, and that's the only reason.
Well, the kids when they were younger, they called him their Dreamcatcher.
Right.
Like he caught all their bad dreams. Yeah.
Our next deadly delight when it comes to alien films. Get him. So our next deadly delight when it comes to alien films is a film that is another cult classic. And to be quite honest with you, I recall being a kid seeing the trailer for this. I'll never forget it. I was actually in a theater by myself. Trailer for this movie came before Sniper with Tom
Yeah,
Blair.
this movie terrified you.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did. So I went back to the theater to watch the movie, and it turns out I was alone again. So, needless to say, this particular scene that's like pretty much like on every like horror list you can think of when it comes to like scariest movie moments for a reason.
Yeah.
It's pretty terrifying. But anyway, we're going to talk about Fire in the Sky, which is based on the accounts of Travis Walton. Travis Walton, apparently, he was abducted in a place in Arizona, and so that's pretty much like where the story goes into.
Well, and not only that, it was a group of they were working in the forest. They were doing some stuff.
But his account was so shitty apparently, and so boring that the producers were like,
"We gotta spice this up."
Yeah, we gotta spice this up.
Yeah.
So that's why the aliens look the way that they look. That's why their spaceship looks like absolute shit. You know what I mean? It brings some like terror to it, that they're just so disgusting and just leave like shoes and stuff floating around and stuff.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like aliens wouldn't be that disgusting and gross.
I think that was something that was added by the producers. Yeah, because Travis Walton's story was just like, oh.
Wouldn't they want to keep their spaceship clean and organized?
I mean, they would be like, you know what? They're like the street doctors of space. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Dr. Nick Riviera from The Simpsons, that horrible doctor. Hi, everybody.
They were the Rippers.
Yeah, totally. But anyway, Fire in the Sky. What'd you think of this movie, Mel? Because this is the first time you've seen it.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever seen it. It took me a minute. At first, I was like,
it is very drawn out.
I was like, babe, this isn't horror. This isn't horror. And then it got to that scene. Then it gets to a scene where he's having a flashback and he's remembering like what happened on the spaceship.
So the whole thing is
that was absolutely, oh my god.
Right, we're gonna get to that. So, but the whole thing is about this movie is that Travis Walton in this movie is not a nice guy. He, and the other, the guys that work with him are like one of them just wants to fucking kill him because he's
a dick.
He is a dick. So. Like I guess they're like ending their shift one night and they see a light. He comes out of the.
He decides to leave the car after everybody tells him stay in the truck. He decides to go out, go play in the light, and look up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, the whole thing, like, I think that the thing that's really interesting about this movie is that like you have this situation that occurs, but at the same time, you sort of have this like murder mystery going on. That the sheriffs, one played by Lee Gardner.
The whole town thinks that these guys killed this guy and buried him in the woods somewhere.
So it's all about lie detector tests. It's all about, like you said, the town just, kind of turning on these guys because they just think they're, like,
and his best
guilty.
friend's life is getting ruined, and his wife is just like,
Yeah, so, Robert Patrick's basically like just telling the town, like, look, you guys go to school with my kids, you know what I mean? You know my wife, you know me. Like, why would you do this? Why would you think this of us?
We didn't do this.
And then all of a sudden,
take your damn lie detector test.
Then all of a sudden, there's a phone call, and it's Travis, and he's calling them from a gas station. And he's naked, and he's just like pretty much like out in the middle of nowhere, calling from the phone. But yeah, like again, like that's another like mystery because like he's just completely wild and kind of animalistic at this point because he's so terrified.
Oh yeah, because of what had been done to him. Yeah.
Like, I remember the scene, and again, like just watching it, like over your shoulder, pretty much, like it was just so effective. Still, and I think the reason why it's just like it's so out of left field to the rest of this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, you know, we've heard about Greys, and we've heard about, like, you know, these different situations with alien abductions and stuff, but we never seen him like this, and it's like really brutal and almost like a rape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy who's literally forced against his will, he's like, you know, not able to move. You know, not to mention he escapes from this, like, you know, this cocoon, and, you know, like, and he's flying around, you know, in zero gravity, and, like, you know, basically falls into like a body that's like pretty much like just, I think it's like, it was like half a corpse, right?
Yeah.
Which I'll have to look into it, but I think that actual model, or that, you know, that dead person in that cocoon is indicative of, there's this thing that happens in this movie directed by Toby Hooper called Life Force. Remember the one with the space vampires?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same. But anyway, Travis is basically dragged into this like operating room. It's disgusting. It's filthy. These aliens are disgusting. They stink.
They are not clean. There's nothing sterile about these aliens at all.
No, and I guess that's you know, the word, not even just the worst part, but, you know, like, you're getting all these jellies in your mouth and your eyes and stuff, and like they're never cleaning their tools. You know? Did you like Fire in the Sky, Mel?
I mean, I thought that scene was great. I thought the rest of the movie was like, It wasn't horror to me. I mean, that one scene was horror, but like, and then like when he came back, that's not my stud.
Your camouflage.
Like when he came back, that was kind of horrifying. But like, honestly, I felt this was more of a sci-fi PTSD.
Yeah, well, it's just you know, just the account of these friends who, like, you know, pretty much were just accused of something they didn't do. Our next deadly delight when it comes to alien films is a film that came out a couple years ago. We wanted to include it because, dude, I really like this movie.
I like this one.
I really like this movie. And, you know, like, I think the thing I love the most about it is that there's absolutely no dialogue.
You're right, there isn't.
No.
Oh my God, does she even talk at all?
No.
In this movie?
No, actually, the silence is actually, like, it plays into the story, too. But we're going to talk about No One Will Save You.
Yeah.
Starring Caitlin Dever, who's going to be playing Abby in The Last of Us Season 2. She's remarkable. She really is great in this movie and everything I've seen her. It's an alien film, but it's also kind of like a home invasion film, too, to a certain extent.
It's an alien home invasion.
Yeah, which has never been done before, as far as I know.
But not only that, I mean, this girl herself, like, she's living alone by herself in this house. She had obviously done something when she was younger that was absolutely horrible, and a friend died because of it, and the whole town just does not accept her at all. They absolutely hate her. And, you know, when she has to go into town, she just tries to be very quick about it. It's very traumatizing for her. You know, and then she starts to notice things are off and people are off, and then the invasion, and she goes to sleep at that night, and there's that invasion. That alien tries to get into her house, and it becomes a fight.
Yeah.
She starts to fight, and she kills this freaking alien. Like, you know,
they just keep coming into the house one by one.
Yeah, and then she's running around the town and realizing that a lot of the people are being taken over by aliens.
There's a parasite that's put in their mouth.
Yeah. Well, it's like they're putting their essence. These aliens are putting their essence into these people, and you know, they're trying to get her, and she's getting away. You know, she kills a bunch of people. And the thing is spoiler alert, in the end, it works out for her benefit. She ends up getting along with all these aliens. They help her with her trauma. I think they take her up into the spaceship, and she ends up seeing everything and confronting. And this one alien ends up convincing the other aliens to just leave her alone.
Well, they give her the pardon that nobody else in her life would give her. I think the reason this movie is so unique, like you said, it is like, you know, there's very little dialogue. It is, you know, it is an invasion movie. It's a woman that's, you know, surviving or whatever, but then it turns out like it's, you know, like because she thinks originally it's like just set in one area, which of course is her home.
Yeah.
But then it turns out it's actually going on
Everywhere.
like
Yeah.
across the planet. So
Yeah.
you know, that's a really cool aspect as well, because like you're not expecting that. You're just expecting it to be like, you know, oh, okay. It just, you know, like these aliens running around our house, which would have been entertaining in
Yeah.
themselves, but you know, like it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah, I know. It's like on a global.
Sequels.
Yes.
But yeah, I do love, like you said, there is this redemptive situation with her
Mhm.
character Bryn, who, you know, like she did something really horrible when she was a kid, but she was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she didn't mean to do it.
Right.
You know, I think it was just like one of those things that, like, you know, just some people just have this instinctual thing that you
Well,
just
kids get in fights, and sometimes kids get really hurt. You know,
get hit in the head with rocks. Yeah.
and die.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, like you said, this is, you know, like a situation where the town like just completely like shunned her. They throw shit at her.
I know, they're horrible to her. They're absolutely horrible to her.
They throw shit at her.
Yeah.
So these aliens like basically just give her a new better life where everybody else is, you know, like in part of the invasion.
Yeah.
But they all treat her nicer. Unlike the dirty, filthy, disgusting shit boy fire in the sky.
No, these ones are actually smart.
They're cleaner.
Yes, a lot cleaner.
Yeah. They're cleaner than the other aliens, folks. But yeah, this is this is a good one. I like it. And the director had said that he never planned on making sequels, but he said after the success of this one, he would think about it.
This was a good one. This is really, really good. I really like this movie.
I don't know if it could be like, you know, a thing that you could continue. I think it's like one of those things where you just
leave it alone. Yeah, this is good the way it was. The ending was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good little alien movie. I like
Yeah.
it. Our next deadly delight when it comes to alien films is, you know what? This is the classic. It's 100% a classic.
And we're talking about the original, the first one.
Well,
not the remake.
Well, hang on there, sweetheart, because Howard Hawks did a film called The Thing from Another World, and that was based off a book called Who Goes There.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, John Carpenter obviously was a kid and saw this movie, and it's like basically like.
Okay, so we're talking about the John Carpenter.
Hang on a second. So basically, you open. You know, like, basically Think from Another World is guy opens a door, 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 big, you know, like, bald, like, big head-shaped guys, like, in the way. That was it. That was the movie. Yeah! Alien. But, this one is just, it's gruesome, it's awesome, it's very, very thought out, it's, thought-provoking. It has an ending that like people still talk about to this day. I think John Carpenter actually like kind of closed the book on that situation, but we'll get on that in a second. But we're talking about The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing.
The first one and the remake, both of them are really good. But we're talking about the first one.
Well, this is a thing though.
The Thing.
The thing with The Thing is, this movie came out and was just critically panned across the board. People called it absolute trash. It's disgusting.
Well,
it's
disgusting.
fucking pointless. It's this, it's that, it's this. And this really like put, you know, John Carpenter to tailspin. This is really honestly the first thing where he really just started reeling about, you know, Hollywood and like, why am I doing this? Why do I continue to do this? Because we know how genius this movie is. And then it just took years and years and years of people just going, oh, I'm going to watch this again, and I see it for the brilliant thing that it actually is, and then, of course, it becomes one of the greatest films of all time.
Right.
Okay. But, yeah, this movie was just horribly panned when it first came out. Which is crazy to think about.
I did not know that.
It's a real shitty thing that happened with this movie. But anyway, what do you think of The Thing, though?
I like it. And, you know, I really like how this creature keeps, like, morphing. It takes over somebody and then it morphs and it changes and it becomes bigger and more grotesque and it's vicious. I'm gonna let you go into this one though, because I know you love this movie absolutely 100%.
I do love this movie, but I do, you know, the thing I love about it, not even just the effects of Rob Bottin are probably one of the most incredible, like, just effects works you'll ever see, ever.
And this thing is, you'll never know. You don't know who the thing is.
Right, and that's the great thing about this movie is that, like, you know, it's basically just a situation where these guys who, you know,
Or what?
work
Or be a
together,
dog.
who know each other, who
This one takes place in Alaska, doesn't it?
yes, it does.
Yeah.
They don't trust each other. You know what I mean? So it
Mhm.
just becomes that situation of these, you know, these individuals that you once, you know, felt like a kinship to, now all of a sudden they're just like your enemy
Yeah.
because you don't know
Who is the
you
thing?
know, yeah, exactly. And that's why the book was called Who Goes There, because it was kind of like the same concept. It's like, you know, you look at, you know, I look at you and I don't know if you're infected. You know what I mean? You know. But yeah, it's super cool because like this thing has the ability to, you know, just, you know, basically like just morph into whatever, you know,
Yeah.
like body it wants to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like comes you one minute, becomes a dog the next, becomes a, you know, becomes a cat, whatever.
Right.
It's crazy. You know what I mean? And just, you know, like the idea of you know, I don't know, just the mutation aspect of it is really really cool.
Yeah. The makeup effects in this movie was awesome.
It really is.
Hmm.
Because then, like, you know, there's you know, moments where, like, you know, somebody, you know, he becomes a part of somebody's body, and then the body, you know, like basically kind of breaks off, and then there's like a head that like becomes like an arachnid and all kinds of stuff. It's like
This thing is
super crazy.
wild. Yeah.
It's super crazy. But obviously, the, you know, like, this is a great cast.
By the way, if your head becomes an arachnid, you and me are done.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I don't like spiders.
Okay.
Okay.
So you heard it here first. If we get divorced, it's because I turned into a spider.
He turned into the thing spider.
Yeah, he
spider
turned into a
thing.
spider head.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, you know, like, this has got a great cast. Wilford Brimley's in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Keith David. Some of the greatest lines I even say to this day. You know what I mean? Like, you know, where he says shit like, where the guy says, their captain goes, you know what? Maybe we can get this going so I don't have to spend the entire winter tied to this fucking couch. So yeah, there's like this whole thing where they don't trust each other and they're testing each other's blood, and, you know, like, kind of like Fire in the Sky. Like, it's sort of like, you know, like there's so much human interaction going on, but unlike Fire in the Sky, they're you know,
Paranoia is real.
their paranoia is so engaging that you never feel bored because these
Right.
characters are really well, you know,
Yeah.
drawn, especially, you know, Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah.
And who can get bored by that guy?
Yeah. Nobody can get bored by Kurt Russell.
It's just, it's incredible. Like, I don't, you know, like, we can dissect this movie just like The Thing, like certain scenes in The Thing, like, all day long. There's so much to fucking unpack.
Absolutely fantastic movie. So the one with Kurt Russell is absolutely fantastic, and the remake is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend going and watching both.
Okay, so let's talk about that one real quick, because, like, eventually we'll touch into it at some point, with, you know, when it comes to our channel. But Mary Elizabeth Winstead was the main star of that.
Hmm.
I thought it was pretty fucking entertaining. The thing that really upset me about that movie is that they had all the effects laid out like, practically.
Hmm. And then they went
And then they went the other route and decided to go CG.
money.
And that's why everybody got annoyed by that particular
Money.
movie, because, you know,
It's about money. It's cheaper.
it's like,
to
how
do,
dare you? You know what I
it's
mean?
cheaper to do digital AI.
How dare you? It just shames the legacy of The Thing, because The Thing was practical effects. That's what that movie's known for.
Yeah.
So for you to go and do that, it's just like, you know, spit in the eye of,
Yeah.
you know, John
and,
Carpenter.
and of the great FX makeup artists.
Rob
Yeah.
Bottin, yeah.
Yeah.
So our next deadly delight when it comes to alien films is a film that, another one that Melody picked. We talked about Josh Hartnett when it came to Trap.
So this is back in the day when Josh Hartnett had the horrible hair.
The Bedhead.
This is when he was still very young.
So let's talk about the makings of this film. Kevin Williamson, who wrote...
And this movie is called The Faculty.
Right. So we're talking about The Faculty, but Kevin Williamson, who wrote the original Scream with Wes Craven, he also was supposed to direct. Instead, he decided to direct Teaching Mrs. Tingle. So he made a good choice. But yeah, this is another fun one. I wouldn't say it's perfect. If you love Tommy Hilfiger, though.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. You gotta remember this movie was made in the 90s?
Yes.
Yes, this was in the 90s. So this one's gonna
They had a deal with Tommy Hilfiger, so like every time you look at somebody, like the drug dealer, the goth girl,
yeah, oh yeah,
they're
like
all wearing Tommy.
all
Hilfiger.
the stereotypes.
They're all wearing
You've
Tommy
got
Hilfiger.
all the stereotypes. You've got
'Cause
the
you know how the
jock,
goths
you've
love
got the
Tom.
cheerleader, you've got the goth girl.
Mhm.
What the goth girl is supposed to be the dyke.
They're all
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
right, exactly. They're all wearing Tommy Hilfiger. Yep.
Yeah, you got the
You got the
drug dealer.
right.
You got the new kid.
Mhm.
You've got the geek,
Mhm.
which was Elijah Wood
Yeah.
when he was
Well,
very
he
young.
was the
Elijah
newspaper
Wood, yeah.
guy. He's a
So
smart guy.
he was the geek.
Mhm.
So you've got all this stereotype. You got to remember this movie was made in the '90s, and even like the way they filmed it was very kind of weird. And this school is like,
But aside the kids, man, we got a fucking murderer's row of fucking actors again. We got Robert
Mhm.
Patrick playing one of the teachers, a young Jon Stewart before the Daily Show, Famke Jensen, Salma Hayek was the school nurse.
hmm Okay, but what was that one teacher that with the really great eyebrows? She was really hot.
Famke
She was-
Jensen.
Yeah. She plays very mousy, but then when she becomes like an alien, like hot bitch.
She was the one that was, she was the one that was, she was gonna have sex with her student, Zeke.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
No,
totally gonna have
she
sex
was
with
gonna kill him. That's what she was gonna do.
Yeah, she was gonna kill him, all right,
Yeah.
with her thighs.
They dies.
Yeah. But anyway, this is a weird movie for me because there's really no real rhyme or reason to why, except for the invasion aspect. They're going to take over, and what? Just to continue to play football, continue teaching, continue to, you know what I mean? Like,
Let's talk about it, and then we'll get to that point, okay?
okay,
So the whole point in the beginning of the movie, you see this one teacher.
we all thought one of our teachers was an alien at one point
Yeah.
or another.
So-
So
You see the football
That's where the
see the
concept
football coach out in the field, and he's yelling at the students and everything, and he's a total dickwad. All right,
Robert
like,
Patrick.
yeah, he's
from Fire in the Sky.
yep,
Yeah.
dickwad, hardcore. Anyways, and all of a sudden he turns around, and the next day he's a totally different person. Yeah, like, okay, something's wrong with you, buddy. You're being a little too nice. Okay. And then you see the principal running.
The teachers are all like kind of changing their patterns.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like becoming different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens is when these teachers are being taken over, basically this it's like a squid-like alien comes out of the mouth, and they put it in the ear.
Yeah.
They put it in the ear. So the teachers are actually taking
Sort of
over
like
all
that
the other
Star Trek
teachers.
thing. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about Star Trek.
Right. The teachers are taking over all the other teachers, and then they start to go after the students. Once they get the nurse, then they can have the kids coming in, like for a checkup or whatever.
Mhm.
One by one, the kids are all getting changed
Right.
over. So there's these 5 students that realize that something's going on. It was 5, right?
Yeah.
They realize that something's going on, and they're trying to fight the powers that be. Fight the power,
So-
including the new girl from Georgia. I think she was
Mary
from
Beth,
Georgia.
yeah.
Mary Beth from Georgia.
Yeah. So anyway, they're basically like seeing all these differences in the teachers and stuff, and it just so happens that what is the name of that? Sorry, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is the name of that drug? Josh Hartnett has a drug that's basically it's like an ecstasy type based drug that's like goes through a pen, but it turns out it's like just caffeine,
Yeah,
and it jacks you up, right, or some shit
Yeah.
like that.
but he
But it turns out that it dries up the body.
yeah,
so it comes into play
like
later.
the alien. But not only that, like this Elijah Wood character, he finds this weird looking cephalopod. That's what it is. It's like a cephalopod or something.
Yeah,
like that.
John Stewart thought it was some, I don't know what
Sort
the
of
hell he thought
squid or something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
octopus or something like that, and they end up putting it in a tank.
Mhm.
Well, it disappears.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean John Stewart's brain apparently.
The
faculty-
and it starts to split itself off.
If it's all about brainworms, then it just should be called the RFK Jr. story.
Right.
There's my political joke.
Oh, snap. That's your
It's
second,
look,
that's your
listen,
second political joke.
it's reality. Look it up.
Oh my god.
But anyway, yeah, let's get into the aspect though of the thing with the aliens. Like, explain to me what you think their conquest or ultimate conquest is.
Okay, so
Just to be regular humans and play football and
no.
all that shit.
So
right?
no. So in the end of the movie, you find out that it's the new girl. Okay, she's actually come down from another planet, and she's just trying to make a home. She's trying to belong. She's trying to make a home. She's trying to get everybody else to belong. And she's like, you know, you always feel out of place. You know, this way everybody will be happy. You'll be the best possible you. You'll belong. You'll be
Okay,
beautiful.
so let me see if I got this right. So basically, she just wanted everybody to conform. So basically, this is like one of those stories that's like, you know, sort of like a conformist story at its core. You know what I mean?
Kind of like a Stepford wife kind of thing.
Right. But,
Yeah.
you know, like, you'll...
It's
you know,
about conformity.
you'll be the jock if you were never the jock, or you'll be the
Yeah.
cool guy if you were never the cool guy. You can
Right.
be whoever you want. Just let me, you know, live on this planet
and
free and clear.
And let me
yeah.
put all my spawn in you. Yeah. Pretty much. That's what
not-
it is.
What's the problem with that?
Exactly. Right?
You know what I mean? What's the problem with that?
Why wouldn't we want everybody to be the same?
No. I'm not saying conformity is a good thing. I'm just saying, you know, like, if she's giving you what you want, where's the thing? It's not like, you know, she's coming here and then there's another, you know, like, sea of, you know, like, her squad is going to come and destroy the earth or anything like that. They're just gonna hang out and play football and go to high school and you know what I mean? Like,
So that was the whole point with this is like, was she really bad, or was she like?
so in
actually
American
trying to do a good
fashion, the
thing?
kids are like, not on my planet, fuck you.
Right, exactly. So I think this was like teenage angst comes up against. It was probably like becoming an adult or whatever.
Okay, but yeah, you know the thing that really pisses me off though, is that
There's a lot of blood though. Ooh, and then there's that one scene where they cut off that one lady's head, and then the head grows the tentacles,
like the thing.
and yeah, the tentacles, and,
Yeah.
and goes back up to her body, and yeah.
Famke Janssen.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing that really pisses me off about this movie is that, again, just like The Breakfast Club with Ali Sheedy's character, who was fine, by the way.
Right?
You know what I mean? She was weird and she was gothy and she was cute. You know what I mean? Even though she had dandruff or whatever. And they did the same thing with fucking what's her name's character at the end. Like, oh, she's not the gothy, like, you know, like dykey girl anymore. She's just a regular girl.
She's
Bullshit.
She even
Hate it.
stated during the movie that she's not really a dyke.
Hate it.
That she's not really a lesbian. That she just used that as a way to keep people.
No, I know, but she also did the whole. Remember the whole thing with Ali Sheedy in the Breakfast Club, where, you know, like she got makeup put on her and stuff, and like everybody just thought that was like the greatest thing. And it's just like, no, dude, like you're basically like you're forcing this character to conform when this fucking movie's about non-conformity. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the goth girl anymore at the end of this movie,
Right.
because that's not cool enough. I'm a big, you know, geek, and everybody thinks I'm gay.
Right.
It sucks. I don't like it. It sucks! That brings us to our final movie, which is another 10 out of 10, just like the thing. Our final Deadly Delight is, of course, Aliens, which is, you know what? I love the original Alien. There's lots, you know, so much to say about it, but it's already been said. And there's a lot of that have been said about this movie. But, you know, I think the thing that stands out the most when it comes to this film is that it's just like one of the best sequels ever made. You know what I mean? Which is a really, really like.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Yeah, it's a really, really extreme bar to be able to climb to make a sequel just as good as the original film. It doesn't happen a lot.
I mean, Sigourney Weaver. How could you not?
Well, look, let's talk
Right.
about this because you know, James Cameron, he had worked with Roger Corman. I think the only movie he'd done before this is actually The Terminator. That was the first big movie that he'd done. He had some pull with them, but not a lot. Sigourney Weaver, you know, was known for Alien, but she really hadn't done anything else aside from that. So he went to the producers with this idea. He wanted to bring Sigourney Weaver back. Sigourney Weaver, you know, like, she didn't want to do it because, you know, she wanted to do it proper and she didn't want to just do a cash cow. But also, she wasn't going to get paid enough. So this is like one of the biggest paydays she's ever had in her career because, you know, the producers actually bent over when James Cameron, he actually went to a whiteboard and he wrote Alien on there. And then he drew an S and then put a dollar sign where the S is.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his pitch. And the producers were like, here.
Here's your money. Take it.
Here, alien with a dollar sign. Holy shit. Like, you're really going to do something amazing. So they filmed it in England, and apparently, like, you know, the English guys, you know, they were old guys that worked on, like, old BBC shows and, like, Doctor Who and stuff like that. And they fucking hated James Cameron.
Really?
He said shit behind his back. They would basically, like, just go on tea breaks and shit just to do it, you know what I mean? Just to piss him off and be able to, you know, just stall all the time. He had just so many problems with the movie. James Remar was supposed to play Hicks, you know, the Michael Biehn character. James Remar, of course, who plays, you know, Dexter's dad. And, you know, he's in the Warriors and a bunch of stuff. But he was on a drug binge at that point, and they ended up having to let him go. Because
sorry, babe, I'm a little right now.
But no, there's actually photos and stuff. There's actually film and there's photos of James Remar in the, you know, in the combat outfit. He looks amazing. But they ended up, of course, you know, with Michael Biehn. Mel, what do you have to say about this movie?
This movie, when it first came out, it fucked me up.
It really did?
Yeah, it did. Like, there's so many freaking jump scares in this movie, and then like with the whole coming face to face with the alien, like when you see the close up when it opens its mouth and comes out, and then you see, like, you actually get to see this thing crawling around, and it's like, this thing fucked me up. And they really get into the whole face huggers with this one.
So we had mentioned before how H.R. Giger's work is very phallic.
Oh my god, so phallic.
You know, and, you know, like, obviously they play into that a lot more in this, because, like, you have the Alien Queen at the end, and there's, you know, like, this egg sac attached to her, and, you know, like, there's even this shoot at the end where, like, you know, she's just, like, just shooting out eggs, like, out of her fucking uterus and shit. There's all kinds of really sexual stuff. You know what I mean? With the face huggers, and, not really the xenomorphs, really. I guess, you know, maybe the little mouth that they have is a little phallic or whatever.
Their heads. Dude, look at this. Look at that freaking head.
Oh yeah,
Is that not phallic looking? Like.
Yeah. You're right. So yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
So yeah, you know, like.
Big old penis head coming after me.
Yeah. You know, this is just a cool movie because it's like just such a great action set piece. You know, when it comes to Space Marine and stuff, you got Bill Paxton, you know, Lance Henriksen, you got this whole crew.
Lance.
But also.
Lance Henriksen. That voice. Yeah, baby.
Not bad for a human.
Not bad for a human. Yeah, that voice, yeah.
But yeah, you know, I think the thing I love about this movie the most is that, like, it is, you know, like, first of all, I think it was, it came out on Mother's Day.
And the Queen was a mother.
It's a movie about mothers.
It's a queen, and well, yeah, and then not only the fact that there's this little girl, right?
Well, okay, so there was a deleted scene from Aliens that you could actually see in the director's cut where Amanda Ripley, who was Ripley's daughter, she was in cryosleep for so long that her daughter just became an old woman and died from natural causes. So she had lost her daughter through cryosleep or whatever, because they hadn't found her. You know what I mean? She was in cryosleep waiting for somebody to, you know, pull her out of the pod or whatever. So that's why Ripley was, like, you know, so young looking, because, like, she was in cryosleep. You know what I mean? So she wouldn't age. You know what I mean? But her daughter was like 75, I guess, when she died.
Oh wow.
So basically, it's a woman who lost her maternal child. You know what I mean? But, you know, takes on the responsibility of, you know,
this little girl.
Of this little girl, and becoming her, you know, like her surrogate. You know what I mean? So there's like that aspect of it, and then, yeah, and then you got, you know, big bad mama alien who's just trying to
lay eggs, man.
She's just trying to lay eggs and, like, have babies, and, you know, like.
Penis.
So my question to you is, you know, do you like the fact that because of, you know, I don't want to put too much out there, you know, when it comes to Romulus, because, you know, a lot of people maybe haven't seen it, but do you like that they're connecting the dots when it comes to this whole, like, oh, there's an android that created these things, you know what I mean, like, all that kind of shit? Because originally, like, it was like, oh, we don't know where these things come from. You know what I mean?
I thought they were created to actually take out the humans because we were an accident. That was in Prometheus.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the engineers were, creating this, like basically perfect organism
to kill us off. Because we were like half breeds of them.
Did you know this? There was actually a deleted scene in Prometheus. There was an idea that they took out. That apparently, like the engineers are trying to just keep us in line and good, for the most part. So they imparted Jesus Christ into our lives. We fucked that up too. So that's why they were like, you know what?
Snap!
So the engineers were like, yeah, these motherfuckers have to go. But we saw through David, the android and shit, that he was the one that actually basically engineered these things, so they can become the perfect organism. So do you like that fact, or would you just like it to still be, oh, these are just aliens, dude? Like, I don't know. I'm not into it.
I don't know.
I'm not into it. It seems a little too convoluted now that we know that they're an engineered thing and not just a regular, alien species or something. It's just a little too much, I think.
I mean, can we just say that, the Prometheus engineers engineered them to kill us off?
Or can we just say that they're fucking... You know what? Fuck you, Ridley. So that's our show.
That's our show for you.
Thank you very much for your continued love and support. We really do appreciate it. We do want more. We do want more, or she's gonna take you out. Again, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps out with the algorithm. And yeah, join us next time. Who knows what the fuck we're gonna do?
Right?
I honestly don't know yet. So with that, we'll scare you later. Talk to you soon.
Later.